What's going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Wizards Latest. I'm your host, Ben Robertson, and guys, we finally have game action to chat about. I'm going to give you my first takeaways from the season opener. I'll give you my player of the game. We'll do a quick stock report. I thought there were some other good performances despite the loss, and as always, at least moving forward, we're going to dive into your comments from yesterday's video. Remember to leave your reactions to the season opener down in today's comment section. I'll dive into those on tomorrow's episode. I appreciate all the support here on the road to 1K. We've recently hit 600 subscribers. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons down below if you haven't already. I thank those of you consistently down in that comment section as well. And diving in today, guys, again, finally having game action to chat about. Really, couldn't be more fired up, to be quite honest. I know it was a 133 to 120 loss, but I don't think that told maybe the full story, at least that final score. Brutal first quarter. Milwaukee shot the lights out of the ball. We know Giannis dominated throughout. Looking at the box score, 37 points, 14 rebounds is what he finished with. Milwaukee scored 72 points at halftime, or in the first half. I actually tweeted out at halftime. I realized that defense and working on defense, improving a lot of individual and team defense with the team was a big priority in training camp and just over the offseason as a whole. But that didn't really show up in the first half, did it? However, coming out of the gates in the second half, it was a much different story. The team got a few stops right away, forced a quick timeout by Milwaukee. At one point, cut the game down to single digits. And honestly, that's kind of what this year is all about, isn't it? We all understand the situation. We all get what the team is facing. We understand the rebuild. We understand, the draft pick situation for next year as a whole. But we want to see growth. We want to see development and improvement. And assistant coach in the Monumental Sports, Network interview at halftime. By the way, doesn't that app just kind of stink? That's a story for another day. But really, I mean, I'm paying $20 a month for just an app that doesn't really work great on the phone or on your TV. It might, whenever you're supposed to connect from the phone to the TV, like you're in the same Wi-Fi area and it wants you just to sign in automatically, it never seems to work. Sorry, just frustrated a little bit about the Monumental situation, to be quite honest. But sorry, what was I saying? Oh, JJ Outlaw in his Monumental halftime interview, he said the guys were essentially pissed off about the first half performance defensively, and you saw that in the early stages of the third quarter. Again, got some stops right away. I thought it was really cool that they forced Milwaukee to take a timeout, forced them to really have to regroup, and then even after the timeout, got a couple more stops. I think it was like 3 or 4 minutes into the third quarter before the Bucks got a basket. And again, I just think that is what this season is going to be about. You're going to want to see that development. And for me, at least, I know it's another opening night loss, but at least it's not just getting run off the court and there was really no hope. I thought that, at least for me, and maybe it wasn't, maybe the game wasn't really ever in question, but at least the Wizards made it a game there in that second half. And I thought you had actually some really good individual performances that you can kind of take out of that matchup. I'm going to give you a player of the game, and I think I'm going to start doing this pretty much after every game of the season for the Wizards. I'm actually recording this episode pretty much right after the conclusion of that Bucks matchup. I want to get these out right away, first thing in the morning after a game day. So make sure you stay tuned to the page. But my player of the game here this today for today's episode for yesterday's matchup, is Chris Middleton, the wily old veteran, man. 23 points in his return to Milwaukee, 9 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3-point range. And man, Chris, frankly, if you keep playing like that, we might be getting some value back for you, buddy, at the trade deadline. I kind of thought it would be maybe the other veteran, or maybe the other veteran 30-plus-year-old, $30 million player on the roster in CJ McCollum that people are expecting to have a big very productive year on the roster is CJ McCollum. I'm tripping up here, excuse me. But I liked what we saw from Chris Middleton. I thought it was cool, the reception that the Bucks fans gave him. And again, looked really good in his season debut. Really, the question for him is, can he play at that level throughout an 82 game season? Kind of remains to be seen. Obviously, injuries have started to pile up for Middleton over the last couple of years, but I want to chat about some of the other performances. Really, I know it was a loss, but from especially the young guys that I think were pretty impressive. And I say young guys, it's pretty much the whole roster, frankly, outside of a few players. But let's start off with Keyshawn George, and this was the player in my season predictions that I said he could double his scoring average, and at least after one game, he's on track to do more than just that. Scored 21 points, 9 boards, 4 assists. We saw him kind of run the offense with the second unit. That was impressive. And again, he just looks so smooth in control and in control. Impressive start for Keyshawn George. And right now, out of that young core, he's leading the pack for me. I'll move on to Cam Whitmore, Wizards debut, of course, kind of back playing for his hometown team, not in his hometown last night in Milwaukee, but 14 points in 19 minutes of action, especially in the first half, and kind of as that progressed, and then in the third quarter as well. Thought just when he was on the court, he was obvious, to be quite honest. He made an impact. He was just, it flashed a whole bunch. Him and, Keyshawn are so much potential there, but so different. I use the term smooth with Keyshawn. It feels like he's just always in control, right? With Cam, it's just sheer power and explosion and downhill athleticism. It's pretty impressive. You might hear my cat meowing. I'm not really sure. I do have a dog as well. Kind of weird, different story. He's in the other room, but sorry about that if you do. And maybe if my computer's not picking it up, then I'm just making a weird comment that you have no idea what I'm talking about. But we'll move on to Trey Johnson. Of course, another debut, a rookie debut for Trey. And I thought he was excellent. 16 points, 5 of 11 from the floor, 4 of 8 from three-point land. Trey is already proven, I think, in Summer League and now in game one of his, or preseason as well, and now in game one of his NBA career, he might already be an elite catch and shoot scorer at the NBA level. The big challenge for Trey is, can he develop the other parts of his offense, the scoring ability, the ball handling ability, the playmaking, those types of things? Can he score off the bounce a little bit so it's not all catch and shoot, all other guys making plays for him? I think is going to be the big challenge, but off, just catch and shoot looks, Trey Johnson is as good as it gets, I think, in the league maybe already. So impressive start for his career. And then lastly, kind of in terms of the positive individual performances, Alex Sarr, double-double effort for him, 10 points, 11 boards. Feels like going into this year, somebody has told him, or maybe been in his ear, hey, dude, you're a big man and you need to play like it. No three-point attempts for Sarr in the opener. Again, solid effort. I think he's only going to improve as the year goes on. We saw him get switched on to Giannis as that game progressed. Again, I told you the Wizards kind of threw different guys at Giannis and really didn't have answers. I think Sarr, if he sees him again, is going to improve in that matchup. We heard the Monumental broadcast talking about that just a little bit. And I really do think, I think he's going to continue to grow. Liked what we saw from Alex Sarr to start off the year. And to kind of close out this stock report, actually on a bit of a downward trend, or maybe not a trend yet after one game, right, is CJ McCollum. Kind of a quiet 9 points. Didn't shoot too well from the floor. 0-6 from three-point range. And he's not really the veteran I thought would struggle, or maybe there's questions about going into this year where his game might still be. Still coming off a 21 point per game season last year. A little bit slow to start off the year. I don't think that is going to progress. I actually think it's going to be maybe a bit of a dilemma because of the slow CJ performance. I thought maybe some other guys got going, and I wonder when CJ, has his scoring rolling, well, does that limit the shots for a Keyshawn George or a Cam Whitmore or a Trey Johnson. Not sure about that. And I think as long as he is with the team, whether that's still the trade deadline or whether that's all year, that's going to be something they're going to have to figure out, Brian Keefe and co. But the last thing we really are going to chat about here today is your guys' comments from yesterday's video. And remember, drop down below your reactions from that season opener or any thoughts you have coming up for game 2 against Dallas. Should be an interesting matchup there as well against Cooper Flagg and co. So let me know what you're thinking down in that comment section. We're going to break those comments down to on tomorrow's episode. But kind of jumping in here really quick, I say from Shane's Lanes, he says, I'd rather see significant improvements this year, setting a promising foundation heading into next year and beyond, rather than being pure trash this year and acquiring another rookie in next year's draft class to add to the collection. He says going 35-47 is better than 17-65. Again, essentially what the Wizards' record was, one game off last year. Now, the first part of his point, I think I agree with there. And by the way, thanks for dropping your comment down below. We appreciate it. Keep tuning in. First part of your point, definitely agree with, and I want to see growth and development. Sort of talked about that in the first point on today's rundown. Second part, or maybe final part of your thought, is the win total. And I'm just not sure the team is going to get to 35 wins. I'm not sure it's constructed in a way that it could get to 35 wins, is what I'm trying to say. I think there's clearly talent on the roster. I'm just not sure it all fits together, maybe purposely in a way that could get you to the play-in. And honestly, I'm not sure that there's no value in that draft pick next year. We kind of know some of the talent at the top of that class, at least we think, looks really promising moving forward. Kind of want to chat about one thing my guy Live Ride said. He actually had a reaction already dropped down there from the game, the season opener, game 1. He said Buck's second string guard Ryan Rollins is absolutely destroying Bub Carrington. Now, I'm pretty sure he is not a Bub starting point guard supporter. I know some of you are. It's kind of a interesting debate, I think, in the fan base. Bub got going a little bit in that season opener, had 11 points, 4 of 9 from the floor, 3 of 4 from three-point land. I actually, kind of coming into this year, I thought maybe his defensive profile was better than maybe some people thought. Just his size and frame, I think, gives him some potential on that end. I thought in Summer League, especially in the Nets matchup, he looked pretty good defensively. But again, as you can see, some didn't love his performance defensively. Did my man Live Ride 5'9" in game 1. Appreciate the comment. Thank you for tuning in. My guy John Loftus says 25 wins if the starters stay healthy on the year. This is about where I had the win total. The DraftKings over under going into the season was at 20.5. I predicted 23 wins, which would be a 5-game win improvement from last season. And right now, I think that's still maybe in play at the very least. If I had to give you a win prediction after game 1, I might tick it down to 20 or 21 after the opening performance. But I'm not sure I'm going to be that fickle, at least with my predictions, quite this early in the season. Last comment here I want to go through, and it's going to kind of similar to the first one we discussed. Tshan72, Tshan 72. You tell me, man. Appreciate your comment. He says, we're going to lose a lot of games. With all the excitement and optimism as these fans have, these losses are going to be hard to stomach. We all need to be very, very patient this season and look for moral victories. Well, hey, my man, I think we got one last night, to be quite honest. And for me, it was just in the first 2 minutes of the second half. Brutal first half. You gave up 70 plus points. The Bucks are kind of dominating you in every way. Giannis is going off. You come out of the gates in the second half. JJ Outlaw, assistant coach, says the team was pissed off, man, in the locker room. And you play a lot better, at least for a few minutes. And really, throughout that third quarter, you cut the lead down to single digits. Again, you forced the quick timeout right out of the break. You got a few stops. I was impressed. Definitely a moral victory from last night. Remember, Wizards have more action this week. Let me double check my schedule here, by the way. Yeah, they are playing Dallas this Friday, again on the road. Home opener, of course, this Sunday against Charlotte. Did have those in the back of the brain. Just wanted to make sure really quick for you guys. I appreciate all the support here on the page. Make sure you've hit those like and subscribe buttons if you've gotten this far and haven't done so already. Remember, hit me with your thoughts down in the comment section. You can also hit me with the follow over on Twitter at Ben Robertson32. And thanks for watching another episode of Wizards Latest.